I think investing in your image is the most important thing. It's the most important thing you can do.
It's the cornerstone of our business.
It's tiny little tweaks that can literally change your life.
I think you make friends with the ones that want to make friends with you, but I think everybody else you just destroy.
Okay, hi, my name is Malin Raisin. I'm co-owner of Project Tampa, which is a med spa right here in Tampa Bay. We are here today with my partner,
Dakota Holt.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for having us here today. You've been a true inspiration throughout our entire career together as partners. So thank you first off for that.
Oh, thank you.
We're mostly here because you are a legend in the healthcare industry. And, you know, with any good personality or character in this business, owner in this business, we truly do look up to people like you that have broken the mold in the society of just having to fit this mold of, you know, the white coats and always having to put people down in the industry in order to feel superior. So again, thank you for that.
We appreciate that. You have been the VIP from the very beginning of Project Tampa. So we're very excited. We have a great story to say about this is just kind of your presence and the impact that you kind of have everywhere you go, this wake that you leave, or not necessarily leave, but it's an impact, right? So we have our principal's office right across the hall from us, and they're not very kind to us. And then because they think that there's more important people that show up to the building than us. And
Not really knowing that we were healthcare providers, but in the pretty realm, in the more aesthetic realm of injectables. And they would tell us things like, well, we have lawyers, so can you please keep it down? Like, and then out of nowhere, like there's cameras everywhere because they're following us. We get report cards every time we do something wrong. So Sweet Deidre, of course, met you at the front and they were like, who was
yes,
that?
They were there to witness you
really?
come up in your
Yes.
Rolls Royce. We're like, so who's important now?
Yeah.
What did they say?
You don't have people coming to see you like that, right? Because you had your team with you, and then you have, gorgeous
my
assistant,
driver,
gorgeous wife, gorgeous everything, and you walk in just owning it. I'm here to see you, Project. They were just beside themselves because they didn't know.
It's like
who we are.
it's like in Legally Blonde when they're like, "What? It's hard to go here." You know, it's like, look at this. Look what we got here.
Because we did break the mold with a lot of encouragement from you where we didn't have to wear the white coats, which we do have a dentist on our floor, awesome concierge doctor, and then there's us.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and we're just wackadoo.
Yes, but it was in the first weeks because you've, supported us throughout our career, not just with Project, that you came and it had to be that in order for them to give us any attention.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wait.
I think that was kind of you were like right your first time to come to the clinic. That was like right at the.
It was right at the very beginning. Yeah.
And it was one of those, like the day of. It was just one of those. These people are terrible people. And then you showed up. It was actually kind of great.
And now escalated 8 months, and every time we do have our cameras out and our set, and guess who's looking right out trying to see what are they doing? What are they doing? Who's going to be there this time? So you did set the tone a little bit.
And we are proving them wrong. So it's good. We are grateful for that. But we also want to know some of the things that you've done to break into. How did you get into the medical field?
Well, I mean, I was introduced to the medical field years ago, right? Just kind of casually, and not to give a sombering story, but my mom, both my parents died of cancer when I was in my early 20s. So when I was going in and out of like medical facilities, I saw that, it was very, not every place, but the majority of the places was very cold and not friendly, and there was no service. It was just kind of like, hey, fill this out, blah, 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 yet you don't know that the other person is like going through a serious illness, right? So at that point I saw an opportunity and I was like, there's an opportunity here, not just to help people, but to provide like a very high level of service, which to me is lost in the healthcare industry, right?
Totally agree. Totally agree.
In most industries, like, you can go to a restaurant and you can tell the difference, particularly one like when a restaurant just opens, it's like the service is amazing, right? Like, you can do no wrong.
Exactly.
Like, oh, you dropped your plate that I just gave you? It's okay. I'm going to get you another plate. Right? Oh, I'm just going to write it off the bill. Or whatever, right?
But then,
But then 6 months later, a year later, it's like
They grow
can't
some
be
balls
bothered.
and no one cares anymore.
Exactly. But
they
in the
get too full of
healthcare
themselves.
space, it's predominantly like that, right? You go to a doctor's office and you're waiting for an hour or hour and a half. I get up and I leave, but
Yeah.
this is the level of service, right? And not every doctor's office does that, but that's just kind of an indicator of like where service has gotten to.
It is so insurance oriented, and from a primary care perspective, before I got into aesthetics, it was hell on earth. It's hell because you're charting 15 minutes before you see your patient. You're going to chart for 15 minutes after you see them. They're only slotted for 15 minutes. You're already 30 minutes late to see them, and they want to talk to you about more than one thing, and you can't do that because you can't bill for it, or it's some weird stupid thing. It's why I left. I hightailed it, or I was going to leave the medical industry altogether because it was terrible.
Yeah.
And charting. I have carpal tunnel because of it.
And that's what makes,
Yeah.
in our practice, trying to break that mold exactly because, we want to make sure that it's not, oh, okay, let's fill out this and do this. And when you walk in, we pop out like almost like,
Yeah.
hi, how are you? Good to see you. We know.
Want to put a costume on? How about a wig?
We have extras. So,
didn't bring
but
yours,
it
great.
also translates into your personal life too, because when you or your team come into our office, it's like, wow, they do the same thing at their practice or their, healthcare system. You exude that same exact level of service. And it's great to see that because,
Refreshing, absolutely.
it's very refreshing because we look at ourselves like, oh, are we being too much? Like,
Yeah.
no, we're being
Yeah.
and people will come to our practice just to be around us.
We may be a little bit too much, but it's fun. It's
it's
certainly
you.
fun in our lives.
It
It's
is.
you.
It
It
is.
is. It is.
And you're surrounded by the most beautiful women on earth.
I am, yeah.
Honestly, your wife.
Yeah.
He didn't even take a second to deny
like,
that.
yeah,
He goes, "It's beautiful me." I know.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I know.
I designed it that way.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's inside and out though. Like everyone you surround yourselves. It's really just great.
What are some of the roadblocks you ran into in your up and comings in the healthcare industry?
What didn't I run into?
What didn't you run into? Everything.
Everything. Like
So-
everything. You name it. You name it. Because you're going against the grain, right? Like, so, I'm going into an industry where it's not hugely service oriented. So, like, I don't want to pick on doctors for, making patients wait, but that's like the least of it, right? There's so many things that happen in the healthcare industry that are like service oriented, that are bad, right? So then you have a guy that's got a high school diploma that's saying, hey, I'm gonna
flip it on its edge.
exactly, right? And that doesn't go over too well initially in the beginning. I've been grinding for 20 years in this game, right? So I had my first healthcare company, then I sold it, didn't make any money, started over again from zero, and then I started Blackstone 10 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
because if you can do it and do it well, that means they've got to be able to do it as well because they're the ones with the degree and they're working in it. But you're the one that's
I don't think it's necessarily degree related.
no,
Okay,
not
so
at
it's
all.
not.
He's
It's
being
not.
It's not. I'm
sarcastic.
saying
He's
that
saying no,
they
it's not.
think
Yeah.
that because that they've got the degree.
Yeah.
I've got degrees, but that doesn't mean crap.
Well, yeah, most of the, most of my friends that are doctors, they know, like, hey, I went to medical school for so many years, but I didn't learn business. And the humble ones, the smart ones say, okay, I need to learn that, right? Which is kind of where I come in, like helping them a lot with just the business side of it, right? Because you don't learn how to run a business in medical school.
Word.
Or esthetician school, or anything, right? You don't learn that business side of it. So I think for me, going through all of the things that I had to go through, which was like everything. Like I was almost Blackstone. I was almost bankrupt twice, 2013, 2014. I was a week away from being closed.
Wow.
Had no money to make payroll. Lost my investor.
My heart's beating out of my
I
chest.
had
I know, right?
20. No, did I have?
And then you
I had
repeated it.
$2,000 in the bank. I had $2,000 in the bank. My payroll, I think that my payroll every 2 weeks was 20 grand, and I had $2,500, and there was barely any money coming in, and I had no investor. My investor dropped out, and I was like, how am I going to pay people?
So
I had to borrow. Well, it was a Tuesday afternoon, and payroll was that Friday. And I got a call that Tuesday afternoon that my investor had pulled out. I had no money left.
Jeez
My
Louise.
partner that I started it with was out. He decided he wanted to be out too.
My palms are sweating.
I know.
And then I had payroll Friday, so literally that night I was on the phone and I borrowed $5,000 here, $10,000 there, with the promise to pay.
You did what you had to do.
I mean, I had to do what I had to do, and well, it's funny because I got $20,000, in 2 days. Like I'm talking about like $5,000, $4,000, $10,000, and I was like, okay, I'll pay you, $20 a month, but I promise I'll pay you. And then I deposited the money in the bank account. But I had outstanding checks at the time too. So Thursday night, I'm up on my laptop hitting refresh on my bank thing to make sure that payroll debited before, some check didn't come in and just wipe it away. So I think it was like 1 a.m. I saw that, okay, payroll went through.
Well,
that happened twice to me.
13 and 14.
But then also too, look how much you care about your people.
That you were struggling, you were really worried about
made it
their
happen.
pay. You didn't care about your $2,500. You cared about the $20,000 that you needed to cover
Yeah.
everyone that
People.
keeps your business afloat.
Yeah. I mean, if I didn't make payroll, it was like,
You just realized.
that's the beginning. That's the beginning of the end, right? That's the beginning of the end. So I was like, I had to make payroll, and then I had to then figure out. It was every day was a battle. So from 2012 to probably 2016, 17 was a battle.
Well, now look at you. You're just booming.
So what would you say got you from there, point A, to
Success.
Yes, I was going to say Z, but yes.
Well, I think you have to have a good product, right? Like I knew that I had a good product. That I knew. So then it was just a question of, okay, I just need to keep pushing that product and that service, and eventually it'll catch on, right? And that's the simplicity of it. Like most people have a bad product, and so they keep pushing and pushing, and then they end up nowhere. So what I always tell people is like, you got to have the best product, right? And we do. Blackstone has the best product in the industry. And that's why we're the number one in the country, not Florida
That's amazing.
or Tampa,
That's
like
great.
in the country, by a huge margin. So first it was, okay, do we have the best product? And then it was like, okay, I have the best product, now I got to push the product. And I just had to wait. There's no immediate gratification. Like I see entrepreneurs these days are like, oh my God, I've been grinding. I'm like, how long? 6 months. I'm like, dude,
Give it a
6
rest.
months?
That's it.
Keep it up.
Yeah. I was grinding for 10 years. Then I started Blackstone, another 5-6 years in. And I'm just every day. And I was at a loss. Like every day I was negative. My bank account every day was negative. I was catching a negative every day. And that's hard to do every day, right? It's
Yeah.
okay once in a while.
That's how you start your day. Ugh.
That's how I started
know?
my day. It was like literally like negative. Like the bank would call me. Yeah, like I had this thing. It was funny. If the bank didn't call me by 10 a.m., that day was good.
Oh God.
Because they would call me and be like, hey, you got checks coming in. You need to make a deposit, right? But if they didn't call me at 10 o'clock, I was like, okay.
Okay, we made
It was a
headway.
good day. I go to Chipotle and it was like, hey, let's live it up.
Celebration.
I'll
I'll
right?
take the
Nice.
guac.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Put an extra one on
But
there
I
for
think
me.
what kept me going is I knew I had a good product. So I was like, okay,
like the
I'm
idea.
just going to keep pushing. And eventually you get there if you have a good product.
We've got a great product.
You guys do have a great product.
And it's not even the injectables. It's the vibe that we want in our clinic.
The
to
customer
be,
service and the just showing you, and it's very parallel to how you feel too, because our industry is not just vanity. It's really self-improvement, and with self-improvement comes self-empowerment. Whether it's listening to podcasts or going to the gym or taking your vitamins or whatever it is. With us, there's plenty of patients that come to us that they just need a few skin treatments or a few this or a few that to completely smash an insecurity they've had for 20 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, and it affects their mental health, or I look like, my father that abused me, or blah, 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 blah. And it's, it's a little to us, and then the whole song and dance of, how we're, oh, come with us, hang out with us, life is fun, work can be fun. It's very parallel to what you're saying, and believing in your product and the people, and just fixing the problem of the medical industry does not have to be this cold, especially when, people are going through something really hard.
Yeah.
They just need to be hugged.
Well, we have a big, we're different. We're a cash pay type of.
Which is
you know,
harder.
It can be, but it's also I don't have as many limitations like insurance limitations and things like that. I'm sure. I mean, you have an entire department that's what they're dedicated to do is verify insurance claims and things like that and validity of the request. That is hard to do, and I don't envy you for that at all. Because
I don't envy myself.
It's one of the biggest things to get out of that I'm grateful for. That I don't have to worry about that. If
Yeah.
they're coming to us, they know that it's a luxury type
Yeah.
of item. It doesn't have to be so, high ticket price, but that's not what I mean. But not everybody can do this, is what I'm saying. And you can go anywhere in the world and get Botox. It's even dentists, chiropractors, everybody can do it. But you can't just come to and be praised and celebrated like we do. And that's what we
It's
love
all
to
about you.
Secret sauce.
Secret sauce.
So how do we, your suggestion is, how could we bottle up what we have and make it on a larger scale like you have done?
Scale. Well, scalability is interesting because, you can't bottle personality,
True.
right? It's really, really, really hard to bottle personality. So you have to figure out what can you scale? Like what can you duplicate?
The
Right.
environment.
Okay. What else?
I want to be the Chick-fil-A of the aesthetic industry,
Okay.
where everyone, my pleasure, of course.
Yeah.
And it be translated, not everyone has to have pom-poms and, be
Yeah.
able to sing and stuff, but just
Kooky.
have that very strong passion to help uplift people.
Right.
That you can.
That you can.
actually
Well, that's
package
a
up
I was
Culture.
actually answering his question. Thank you.
Well, that's a culture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can absolutely scale culture.
That is a trainable.
That is a
virtue.
trainable thing. You can get people bought into culture. Look at Virgin as a company, right? The culture is amazing. So he can create any company, and he has the people that'll go in with the right culture. So to me, that's what separates businesses, right? Like whether
agree.
it's a medical spa or a healthcare therapy company or a doctor's office or whatever, a chiropractor's office, it's the people. It's the
perfect
service. Why is somebody going to go to one place versus another place?
We agree. It's
Service.
There's 5 different.
culture.
There are 500 med spas
Yeah.
in a mile radius.
It's
or so.
service. It's service. I mean, why does somebody buy one car or another car? Sometimes it may be the car, but usually it's the service, the salesperson. Like there's certain dealerships that I won't name them, but there's certain dealerships I won't buy cars from anymore. Service is horrible.
Probably driving
Horrible.
one of those right now.
I know.
But the
I
service
get
is horrible.
Yeah.
I told him, dude, I'm not buying cars from there because the service is horrible. So somebody going to get Botox, facials, whatever, right? You can go. There's a plethora of choices, but where do you go? Do you really, people are willing to pay more for service even if the price is higher. Look at Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost Louis Vuitton to make that bag any more than it does to make a Coach bag.
Jansport.
But why? So, but why do people buy a Louis Vuitton bag? Why?
It's
Prestige.
it's the experience, and it's the exactly how you feel when you're wearing it, and it's a level of accomplishment because you earned that bag, and it's definitely to some a dream, although it's a physical thing that you hold, but sometimes it's like a trophy. It's like
Yeah.
a badge of honor. Like I made this, I did this
Right.
by myself.
But
Right.
they had to have this branding, where
It's branding.
consistency, no matter which one you went into, no matter what bag you ever picked up, it was the same quality, the
Yeah.
same.
The
So
same.
let's talk about that with your branding. Would you say the strength in branding is consistency?
Yeah, of course.
But you have this as one location. And now Medellin, you have in...
Well, we service 50 states. We're in 50 states. We have offices in Tampa, Washington, D.C., and Medellin, Colombia.
Nice.
But that all services the United States and South America.
So would you
Right.
say the culture of your business is also contributing to the branding aspect?
Yeah, of course. Right, because we have salespeople all throughout the country that are pushing the culture. And what is the culture? We want to help people. We want to help people get tested for sleep apnea that predominantly wouldn't be able to get tested. And so from the minute they call here, it's just service, 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 service. Where no one here is going to be rude to patients, and if they are, they don't work here. right? But they have a smiling face, and they're like, you know, we teach them to smile through the phone and really provide service. And that's what separates us from everybody else.
So what you're saying is you already took my idea of being
I did.
Sorry. Unbelievable.
So sorry.
So you
So
fulfill a niche in this industry that is widely overlooked because they don't care. They don't care. They're going to get the insurance payout.
Yeah, I destroy people on service. I destroy like every competitor that I when I came into this space, there were 2 or 3 competitors that had been around since I was a sophomore in high school, and I destroyed them. One of them's out of business now. Like I destroyed them. I destroyed them because I know that I can provide better service than they can. And I tell my people all the time, like if somebody beats us as a competitor, we'll flunk on us because we sucked on service. You know, that's what it really comes down to. That's why I go. I mean, if you think about your daily habits and why you go where you go, like we always go to the same Starbucks all the time, right? Why? Because it's service, man. I pull up to the window. Hey, Vic, can I get you the same thing again? Yes, blah, 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 smiley face, blah, you know, all that.
Yeah.
I don't go to the other Starbucks because they give me great service there, right? Or lunch. We go to the lunch at the same places because the service is great.
And you come to us because
The service is great.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but it's a different experience, right? It's not like going to another place where it's just like, okay, are you ready? Blah blah blah, and you go back, and then like the person has no personality, and it's just like you know, it's a job.
Well, I will say that we average our appointment times are around 30 minutes. When you and Viviana come, it's like 2 hours because we're like talking to you guys. We're like, so
we're
what do you
constantly
think?
picking your brain.
Yes,
I love it.
constantly.
So we have a kind of a culture that we're trying to help just manifest in our industry is the community over competition because there's so many people out there. We're not competing for the same client. If you want my service, you come because you know my service is what it is, the branding.
Yeah.
So whenever people are injectors, they are constantly thinking that someone's stealing something or taking clients from them. You can't take anything from me.
Yeah.
You absolutely cannot take it. I can give you something or I can fail something that then lead them to competitor A or whatever. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
Not going to happen because of your service. We are equally as dedicated to service and improving our clients' experience.
Well, not only that, but dude, there's so many people out there. Like, there's how many people on the planet now? 8 billion people? There's 8 billion people.
And I need to service 7 of them.
So that's what I tell people all the time. And it's like, there's so many people out there. Like, what, I never get hung up on one person or 10. Like, there's no point.
No.
Like, steal who?
Exactly.
Steal who?
It's incredible how popular, though, that mentality still
Well, it's a
exists.
scarcity mentality, right? It's a scarcity mentality. Like, you can't find, like, when I was going to open up the Columbia office, everyone was like, oh, no, you can't find English-speaking people there and bilingual people, blah, blah, blah. Can't find them. So I get online and I'm like, there's 50 million people in Colombia. There's like 7 million people in Medellin. You telling me I can't find 300 people that speak English?
Watch. Hold my beer.
Yes. He's like, you tell me I can't.
Like, you telling me I can't find 300 people that speak English out of 7 million?
How many did you get?
And guess what? I got all of them.
Turning them away at the door, I'm sure.
I got all of them.
So what advice would you give to us in our side of the healthcare industry? It is, you know, we are there to self-empower people, right, through aesthetic medicine. But that's the patient end of it. Everyone looks at the celebrity injectors or estheticians like, oh my gosh, you know, they're amazing. I want to go and hang out with them, blah, blah, blah. But on the other side, in the provider side, everyone's attacking each other. So it's almost hypocritical where we're trying to show this self-empowerment to these people when at the same time in our industry, it's a catfight all the time.
Yeah, you just got to ignore it.
We do pretty well at ignoring it, and we're to at least reach across and bring people into the fold of it's better if we do this all together because everybody benefits together instead of...
But can you? I don't think you can. Like, I think you have competitors, right? You're talking about competitors?
Or
the way that they're treated at competitors, or that
the way that your customers are treated at competitors. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
No, I would say like our colleagues, competitors.
But they're
In-
colleagues or competitors?
I mean, I would like to see them as colleagues.
No, but what are they really?
Some of them. And
Some
we're
of
making
them.
we're making headway.
We're making huge headway.
I think you make friends with the ones that want to make friends with you, but I think everybody else you just destroy.
Nice.
I'm
I
serious.
mean, there's
I don't have any I'm ruthless with that, and I think you have to be in business. Like I'm ruthless. Like if you're a competitor of mine, yes, I'm trying to destroy you, and I'm okay. It's okay, because we're playing a game. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and be like, oh no, I want you to do well. No, I want to destroy you. I want to take all your business. It's not violent. It's a competitiveness, right? It's like Michael Jordan. Did Michael Jordan go out there and say, okay, well, I hope I'm going to do my best, and I hope you guys do too, and if you guys win, it's okay?
No.
No. What was his mentality? He's like, I'm going to destroy you. Destroy meaning I'm not going to drop a nuclear bomb on you, but destroy in the sense that I want to win. And it's okay to win. It's okay to say I want to win, right? So, for me, it's like, and I tell everybody, I'm like, dude, as long as we provide the best service and the best customer experience, we want to destroy everybody out there, all our competitors. And I don't even think about I don't wake up thinking about my competitors because I know I'm destroying them, right? Because they're not going to outwork me. They're not going to provide better service. They're not going to provide better quality, better access, or better cost than me. So you have to think with like, okay, if somebody wants to reach across the aisle and be your friend and colleague, great, and I welcome that too. But it's a cutthroat world. Like you have to be ruthless. Like if you have a competitor, like I have the opportunity to destroy a competitor, I take it.
So from the provider's perspective is that there's constantly change and room to grow and improve. And if I don't collaborate and learn as much as I can from everyone that I can, there can be some risk involved, an elevated risk, and I'm not. And the risk is then at the expense of the client or patient, and I can't put that at risk. So by having at least a relationship, a working relationship with people who are also in business in the same line of business, we all learn together and we can show each other different things. So that's kind of the community over competition of
That's fine.
being
And how
safer
I
and things
am,
like that.
how I am interpreting exactly what you said and translating it into Malin and Dakota language is
Makota.
Makota, is in our line of industry, if you're good, you're a star. What I interpreted from him is you want to be a star, you want to hang out in the sky in the realm that we do. Great, we'll all support each other in this ecosystem that we have to, but at the same time, you're pushing us to be the sun. So the biggest star that we can be, and how we do that is stick to everything that we've built.
Our virtues.
Our
the
virtues.
Things that we built our business on, and client service, and that they are the You Project. You are the center of the universe when you're in front of us. Nobody's gonna duplicate that. They can try, but they're not going to do what we do.
Well,
Might
then
as well.
also, too, that's why we also have another passion of ours, that's U Project EDU. So we are here trying to be educators in not only, the protocols for procedures, but everything can be sunshine and rainbows, because that's what the patient actually wants. Like you were saying, sitting in the waiting room, they didn't deliver that sunshine. It was, oh my gosh, I'm about to walk in and get the worst news of my life.
Right.
So to bring that sunshine element into it and try to teach our industry that you don't have to be
Stuffy and cold, and the mean girl.
Yes, the
shit.
adopted culture, right?
Yeah,
It's like the way
we're
I have to be.
injectors. I mean, honestly, we're not.
Yeah.
I'm in the grand scheme of things. There's better, better things. Not for a career. That's the best thing in the world for my career. But we're just injectors, so we're not that hoity-toity.
Yeah.
But they sure do.
Yeah, and as you get bigger and you scale, that's the hardest part to keep in, right? So as
Grounded.
we scale, well, getting everyone to buy into the culture. We invest a lot of money in our culture, right?
how.
Well, we have a chief of staff, and we have people that always make sure that the culture is in, right? And what is the culture? So we have a whole thing written up about entrepreneurship culture and about service and about how here we want to be the best. Like there's no, well, we're okay with being second best. So when we interview people, we tell people, we're like, dude, like if you're coming here to ice skate, this is not the place. Like we're going to ride your ass like Zorro to be number one. And if you don't want that, it's okay. Like if you don't want to be number
Right.
one, this is not going to work.
Right, this is
And people like that they blow out of here so fast.
But what
They
I'm
don't
also hearing from you too is there are 8 billion people in this world. And if I want to build a Chick-fil-A empire and only have 3,000, I'm sure I can find the 3,000 people.
Easy.
No,
Yeah,
we
that's
want,
my
we want
point.
worldwide domination. That's what we're looking for.
I mean, it's huge. There's so many people. There's no scarcity of people. It's like, oh, this one didn't work out. Oh, okay.
we want you projects in every major city across this country,
Yeah.
and it'll happen. And easy breezy. That's just
Beautiful.
time.
Never go.
It's just time and patience.
Yeah, I
and
mean, yeah,
doing
it's
the right
time
thing
and
right every
patience
time.
is being persistent and not reducing your idea of whatever that ideal scene is, right? Because that typically happens as you're trying to grow.
You compromise something.
You compromise that ideal scene. Like, okay, this is what I want, and then a month later, it's like, well, I'll take this version of that, and that could be in a business, it could be in a spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, right? You car, whatever. Like, oh, I wanted this, but it's kind
I
of
settled for
fits
this.
in, and that's the secret sauce. If you have an ability to say, okay, I'm not going to settle for another version that's not exactly what I want, then that's power,
Yes.
right?
We have talked
that's
about this,
the power,
yeah.
and not everybody can do that.
The both of us, I think that we are so good about the team that we've built is that we aren't willing to compromise even the smallest little thing.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it because at the end of the day, Make Hoda is something that it has to represent who we are, and I don't compromise.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a personality trait, but perspective and just goal always. Because when people see on Instagram, we're like, ooh, ready, cha cha cha. If you come in and you walk into U Project and you feel some turn it on. Turn it on. Just like you're saying, I'm gonna ride your back like Zorro. My entire team knows the same thing where it's like, okay, we're not going to talk about boyfriends. We're not going to talk about how much you hate this or that.
Yeah.
And it is a total vibe, and it's not about us anymore.
Yeah.
It's about you,
Yeah.
the patient,
Yeah.
and whoever walks into the door. Because if you shake that attitude, like, it's hypocritical, and then they lose the trust in you. So wait, you're not the ball of sunshine that I was told to be online, and like, who are you? Like, what's happening?
You're not the Instagram personality I thought you were. What?
Are you about to pull
She's
off
the
a
one
mask?
who's always Dakota, get it together. We got to be front and center and be on.
Yes.
And so we're on all the time, but
But I
worth
mean,
it.
it's better than having to have a negative feeling, or I can't imagine. Kudos to all the criminal defense attorneys and stuff like that, but all of that angst, I don't think I could deal with that. Like,
It
I'm
makes me
all
feel
about
dirty.
the light. It makes
Yeah,
me feel
yeah, yeah.
dirty.
I need to change clothes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to feel. I like the happy stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So speaking of the happy stuff, when we were taking a beautiful tour of your facility, your sweet chief of staff was saying, we take care of our tiger sharks. I don't know if she said tiger sharks, but she takes care
sales
of
team.
her sales team, and you guys really pamper
Yeah.
your people.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about that.
I mean, we pamper them. Like,
You don't have to.
Nobody leaves here.
Yeah.
Like, I think our turnover is like 3%, and the national average is like 25 to 33%.
Oh, I thought you meant like they don't leave the office. I'm like, Vic,
No, they
you
don't
need
leave
to let
us.
them go
No,
home.
no. They can go home and sleep. No, they don't. They don't leave. They don't want to leave.
That's awesome.
They don't
Because
want
you
to leave.
reward them.
Because
Hard
we
work
reward
pays.
them. We have a lot of things in place to promote culture. We really reward when they work hard. They're up statistics. We reward that. And we show them that we care. And here's the other thing too: they're bought into what we're trying to do.
There you go.
Right, that's the key. So image is very, very, very important to me and in our organization. Right, like we tell people, like, we have a dress code. Managers have to wear a shirt and tie Monday through Thursday. Any divisional manager has to wear a shirt and tie, or they have to have a professional dress. Right. I'm the only one that shows up in jeans, but.
Well, you own the joint, so.
Yeah, so I get away with that. But even then, it's like image is a very important thing, right? And it's not necessarily if you wear a shirt and tie, but it's like, do you take care of your skin? Do you take care of yourself? Do you eat right as best as you can? And do you moderately exercise or whatever, right? And so what I've noticed for myself is every time I've invested in my image, my income goes up. It's the craziest thing.
Totally
Like, I've
relate.
literally put it on a statistical graph.
It's crazy that you say that, because in a previous life of mine in this industry was very much the opposite. Like, don't wear your rings, don't wear your fashion jewelry, don't be too flashy, because it's about the patient and it's about how they feel, and you're a little too intimidating.
Yeah.
So I've always had to dull it down. But now, being at U Project and just being my authentic self,
Yeah.
it's almost like some people look at it like a trust thing. They're like, okay, well, she takes really good of herself. She has an awesome life, awesome family, married to the most amazing man in the world, at work and at home.
Yeah.
And she's just shining bright and she's doing her thing. Like, wow. So there's some people that appreciate that. And then there's some that just feel outshined.
Well, I'll tell you, it's correct. I'll tell you a funny story. So I had this friend of mine. I had this guy that I knew that was a financial advisor, right? And I had this other friend that was a doctor. So the doctor one day asked me, he's like, hey, do you know of good financial advisors? A financial advisor. And I was like, yeah, I know this guy, whatever. So this guy, he prided himself in the fact that he had a paid off Mercedes, okay? And it was an old Mercedes. Like it was an old Mercedes. I don't know what it was. But it was like a C-Class Mercedes or something, but it was like 10 years old, right? And he prided himself on the fact that it was paid off. And he would tell me, he would say, I think when I meet clients that they really, they really value me, and they really think like, wow, this guy's good with his money because he drives this old Mercedes and is paid off. And I thought, okay, interesting, right? So I said, okay, cool. Well, I have this friend, this doc, that wants to meet you. Can you just call him and maybe go over to his house and talk to him? Yeah, no problem. So a couple of days later, he goes over there, and then they were meeting on a Saturday or something, and then they were meeting at like 1 o'clock, and then at like 2:30 or something, my doctor friend calls me, and I'm like, how did it go? He's like, I don't know. He showed up in an old Mercedes.
Exactly.
Okay. I thought he was at least going to have like a brand new S-Class Mercedes, so I know that he's doing well.
Right.
That was his response. Right?
Yeah.
So you see the difference? So you have this guy on this other end that thinks, who's not investing in his image, but somehow he thinks that somebody else is going to value the fact his car's paid off and that he's good with money. Okay? But actually he's not good with money. Because he's not investing in his image.
Right.
Had he shown up in a Bentley, he would have got the account.
Just something newer than 10 years.
Whatever, right,
Yeah.
exactly. Something that was like investing in his image. So him getting a new Mercedes doesn't have to be the most expensive Mercedes, but a new Mercedes would be an investment in his image. And people want to invest money. It's the truth. People want to invest money and do business with people that they perceive to be successful.
Well, let's rewind all the way to grade school, which I don't know if you had to wear uniforms, but that was the way of adults teaching children how to stand up tall by wearing the collared shirts and by wearing the khakis and, feeling good about yourself, because you're not going to go in a, pressed uniform or pleats or whatever the uniform was with raggedy looking hair, because if you're wearing a dress outfit, then it makes, adults are instilling into children, you're beautiful, you're great, you're awesome, be the best that you can be. How did we lose that as adults to where it's like, no, now if you're successful, you have to look run down, you have to look like, you're good with your money.
You haven't slept in 3 days and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
You can't be well rested.
I don't understand
Yeah.
that mentality. I've never looked. I would expect someone to have.
But
have
that
it
is
together.
but it's actually, look, it's good for us. Why is it good for us? Because that's the norm. Like nobody here wants to be norm. Right? Nobody here wants to be normal.
I don't
It's a
think
drier
anybody,
setting.
Right.
No, it's a drier setting.
So that's what I'm saying.
one
So that's
period
just what
wants
people
to
are
be.
going to do. That's what people are going to do. So I think investing in your image is the most important thing. It's the most important thing you can do.
It's the cornerstone of our business. Is not and looks. Take the vanity part out of it completely. It's not just vanity. It is feeling better about your presentation. It's not, I'm not prettier than anyone, or they're not prettier than whatever. It's that I am the best version of me currently looking in that mirror. And that
Right.
reflection is something to be proud of.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you're proud of that image, you present yourself and you're not afraid to
Right.
you're not afraid to take it to the
right.
next level.
It
every time.
all tumbles into the same. Like there's some people out there where if they don't make their bed or if they don't do their complete routine in the morning, not necessarily putting on makeup or clothes or anything like that, their whole day is a mess.
Who makes your bed in the morning?
I would raise my hand, but it's actually my husband.
I don't. I have a housekeeper.
But I'm just saying,
It's made.
but like,
It's made.
right.
It's made. Okay.
And then you feel put together. So when you walk into that presentation, you're not fumbling, you're not, it all comes from feeling like your best self. If you put your face cream on, or I know I'm not the only woman in the world, but when you feel a certain type of way, it translates into other people that you are confident, that you're put together, that you're naturally just successful, and you naturally can reach goals because you already reached the goal of doing everything in the beginning of your
Misery
day.
also likes company. Misery likes to kind of, it's like a magnet.
Yeah.
So if you're not that miserable person, people are, that's kind of, you stick out a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
Because I think the miserables, they kind of,
Oh yeah, they find each other on Facebook. So
Yes, they
okay,
do.
so who here has a budget for investing in a monthly budget for investing in themselves?
oh, well, yeah.
I mean,
it's
I-
never ending.
Well, most people don't have a budget, right, for
Right.
investing in themselves. Like whether it's taking care of their physical body, or doing a seminar or a course or something.
Self-care, mental care.
Something,
health.
right, that's gonna enable them to become better. Like, but everybody will have a budget for their car, or their budget for their this or their that, or their shopping, or how much money they spend on Starbucks or whatever, right? But not many people have a budget for self-improvement.
Right.
And it's the most important thing. 'Cause
Well,
there's-
it starts there, right? Like it starts with you. So
it really does.
if you don't feel good about yourself, you're probably not going to perform great.
Right. And like I like to say is self-empowerment comes from self-improvement, and it's not just about, our skin treatments and, helping that way, but at the same time it kind of is. Because like we were talking about before, not every patient is, the Hollywood style trying to look or change themselves. It's just the little tweaks of improvement, because as you age, things start falling down like London bridges, right? So to help yourself feel good in the morning, every morning, just like brushing your teeth or making your bed, there's a certain type of self-improvement that I think is kind of required for everyone.
Self-awareness, at least, that you stagnation is I think mediocrity is terrible. I think it's what's going to kill me is if there's ever any moment that I could be status quo. It can't happen like that. So you have to have what's next what's next on the improvement scale.
Absolutely.
Here. And it's a menu, and it really does help to, first of all, it drives our industry completely right up the, I love it, right to the bank.
Wazoo.
Yes.
Well, there's been articles in, I guess it would be like a census count. I don't know how they get these numbers, but our industry has grown 85% just because of the COVID Zoom calls. So now they're forced to see themselves in the mirror, which most people don't even look or care, right? So now they're forced to stare at it all day.
Thank you, Zoom.
And and then they're just like, oh my goodness, and it's always stemmed with I got a divorce, or I don't feel good because of this, and it's tiny little tweaks that can literally change your life. Like a patient of ours suffers from something called HS, and her hair follicles are literally fighting with themselves. She has ingrowns everywhere. She didn't even tell her parents until she was 18 years old because she thought, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. Yes, it is.
It's one of the most painful diseases to suffer from, too.
Yes,
because
and all it's taking me is my laser hair removal machine to help her with that.
Yeah.
A simple, not a fix, but it was a problem for her. So now, like, we see her personality coming out. She just feels more comfortable.
Very talented young woman. I'm excited to see where she goes with us in this practice because it's very, very nice to see her. At least feel some comfort and self-dignity.
Yeah, of course.
And it all translates into success too, like you were saying. Why is all the leaders in the industry have this not necessarily an insecurity, but a stigma of, oh, I can't be too fancy because it might turn some people off. You, my friend, are like, boom.
I don't give up.
Yes.
I'm going to drive this. Yeah.
But it shows confidence, which obviously derives from everything that you did, because you deserve everything you did, because you fell so many times.
Yeah.
And who's to take your trophies from you?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
not necessarily their actual trophies, but I deserve to do this. I deserve to have this. You know why? Because you don't know my whole life story.
Yeah.
People that are getting to know you now think that this was just given to you.
Yeah.
And whoever you are, come talk to me, because I know the rest of the story. Thanks.
So I have got to ask, tell us what your routine is in the morning for your skincare. Viewers want to know.
My routine, really in the morning, I just wash my face with water and I put on sunblock.
Okay. Sunblock SPF. Oh my God, it's amazing.
Well, that's good, but let's talk soon, because not that there's anything wrong with you or
Yeah.
anything that needs to be fixed or anything like that, but your whole persona can be translated too into the practice what you preach when it comes to the
Yeah.
skincare, because it is the largest. See, now I'm getting like you're not doing.
Yeah.
So
But what do you do in the evenings? Do you have
I use a face wash.
There we go.
And then I use a moisturizer, and that's it.
Okay.
So
We
I'll
had
see you
on a-
tomorrow.
I know we had you on a serum.
I'll bring all my stuff that I use, and then
Oh,
you can
yeah.
tell me what I
Perfect.
need to get rid of.
Well,
or
your skin is the biggest organ on your
Yeah, I
body,
agree.
and with men, you guys have this baby face until you don't, and then everyone.
I think more men need to do take care of their skin. Like I'll meet dudes. I'll go to meetings, and I'll ask the dude, like, how old are you?
And he says 10
he's like
years.
34. I'm like, bro, I thought you were 64.
Mm-hmm.
Like looking rough.
Yes.
Looking rough.
So what
when
you're
you
saying?
look rough,
Then I
you
immediately feel better about myself. I'm just kidding. But I'm just like, wow, dude. Like you need sleep. You need soup and
Just
and a bath
a little
or
effort.
something. Like,
Just
You know what I mean?
reinvest. Like,
Like,
you
just
have to
look rough.
reinvest in yourself.
yeah. But I think more guys need to invest in their.
I think
in their
that's a culture
skincare.
thing that, you know what, we'll work together in breaking that down, because Botox is really a thing. It's so the whole thing about Botox, the reason it's so addictive is that it really does have an effect inward in your mind. And I
Yeah.
tell this story all the time about the Botox effect. So if your mentation is relaxed, like your forehead, everything seems to just kind of click in place. You're more productive, and more productive people make more money.
Yeah.
So I'm literally making people more money
You are, of
by
course,
giving
yeah,
them Botox.
because you're investing in their image.
That's it.
Yeah.
Very
But
nice.
more guys need to do that for sure. I think there's a stigma attached to it. Like
More
oh,
guys
I
need
can't-
lip injections too.
Yeah,
They don't have any.
possibly. I'm good. I'm good in that department.
Maybe some cheekbones and some, the good stuff.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun with, we have a few guys that come in. It's kind of funny how the guys are always the ones that get a little passy-outy at the side of a needle. Kind of shows you women go
Well,
through
guys
a
are,
lot. They go through a lot and they don't cry about it.
That's why men can't have kids. We wouldn't have a future.
There would be a cure for kids if
Yeah,
there was
yeah,
already
yeah,
if
yeah.
men had to.
Isn't it crazy that the catchphrases are always like "grow balls" or "you're being a pussy"? Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, pussies literally create life. We bleed without being harmed.
Yeah.
We literally
God.
create people,
Yeah.
and it is completely ripped apart and damaged just to go back. And we do boom to your balls. It's like,
Yeah.
So like, shouldn't it be like
The wind
be
changes
a pussy?
direction. Okay.
Yes, like sensitive. Like, let's break that.
Nice.
I would agree with you on that. Yeah.
You're a very, very busy man, and we appreciate this a lot. You are a mentor, whether you know it or not.
No, thank you.
We do enjoy your videos and enjoy
Thank you
having
for
this
considering
opportunity.
me a mentor. Though. That's cool.
And you're, I would hope to achieve some of the heights of a success that you have been able to achieve in your life. And I think we have a similar background in struggles to get there.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful to see someone actually achieve it, do it well, and do it with class, and not have to
And
regret anything in the past.
Especially in the medical industry, like you said, and in medical aesthetics. It's very hard to be yourself. So thank you for breaking the mold and just saying, you guys can do it. Although you're whispering, you're like, you guys are going to stay here forever, right? No,
Right,
you guys,
right.
like, I see you guys being bigger, and we're like, oh, really? And then the continuous
You
and
did.
continuous.
You said one of the most powerful things that ever had. Is you said, if that's the image, I said I wanted to be the most recognized injector in the world, and you said, well, put that out there, put that on your Instagram, and I did, and it's just been like Super Bowl bound. So it's been going, going, going. I am the most recognized injector in the
Well, you
country.
got to claim it, right?
It's claimed.
Oh, of course. Set it
gotta
out.
claim it.
Manifest
I bought the
that.
ticket.
Claim it.
Yeah.
So thank you again so much, Vic and team, for all of this. And we hope that you have us again soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
We'll see you soon.